ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
1 day away from East Carolina baseball officially beginning its 2026 season. This Hoist the Colors on a Thursday, February 12th. Edition of the program, as always, live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. You got a question, comment, concern, drop it there. Still awaiting news on maybe a potential doubleheader later in the weekend, but a 4 o'clock first pitch set for Friday for East Carolina and Xavier. So looking forward to that. We'll discuss that, college baseball, a whole lot more of the next hour. We got to continue our ECU baseball roster rundown later in the show with Philip Pilkington. He's producing today, and we're welcoming in an old friend, Cason Remaley from Carolina Curveball. Cason and I have already spent a solid hour and a half talking today over the phone. Little spoiler alert, fun project on the way. Putting together the best ECU baseball team under Cliff Godwin. From day one to now, all the best players on a budget. That is on the way, Cason. So looking forward to that. But you excited for some baseball, man?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that so much. It was very hard to put together. We had a lot of tough conversations, making sure we didn't leave any guys out, making sure they're at the right price points. You will have a budget. You have to build your team with the budget, with the dollar amount. But I'm so looking forward to baseball this weekend. You have no idea. On your guys' show last week, when y'all did the rankings of the 6 sporting events, opening weekend was number 1 for me, and I cannot wait. And like you said, don't know about the weather, but of the 28 programs in the Carolinas, 7 of them are already going to double headers, either Friday or Saturday. So I think weather is coming for sure, but I don't really care. Baseball's here, cannot wait. And Philip, your shirt's sweet, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, my sister got this for me for Christmas.
Daytona 500 on the way. That is a that is a sick shirt indeed. Carolina Curveball, by the way, you're home for not only Cason Remaley, but all of the information reporting on every Division I baseball program in the Carolinas. ECU on that list. And let's just dive right into that. We'll talk more about ECU specifically here in a minute. We'll talk more about other baseball going on in segment 2. But, Cason, you guys did release your first power rankings, the official preseason power rankings. I'm looking at it now. These are probably your most, engaged social media
Correct,
item, always
yes.
always creating controversy. ECU coming in at 6th, Coastal at 1st, North Carolina, NC State, Clemson, Wake, ECU, Duke, South Carolina, Charlotte, Charleston, High Point, UNCW is top 12. So how competitive was this space when you guys sat down and came up with it?
It was very hard. And I don't know if y'all might believe this, but Coastal edged North Carolina by 1 vote. So North Carolina was almost number 1. I'll be real. I voted for North Carolina number 1 because of their pitching staff. Granted, you don't really know what's going on at the plate because they have so many transfers, lost so much offense. And Steven, I remember me and you in 24 when we went to Chapel Hill for the game, we were talking with people there and you were asking them, how do you think the team's going to be? And they said, well, the pitching staff's young. The offense is old and proven veterans, but the pitching staff's young. We'll see how far they can take us. The offense can. And now, Steven, all those pitchers that were young are all old. Ryan Lynch, DeCaro, Mateus, McDuffie's a sophomore. Just absolute studs on the mound. I think they're the best team in the Carolinas personally. I think NC State is right there. I have NC State above Coastal in my opinion because of NC State's weekend rotation with Marone, Andrews, and Duden now moving to the mound, which will be big. And we have ECU at 6. I had ECU above Wake Forest, but I think some other boys on the staff like Wake Forest's pitching staff as well as depth in the lineup. And one I do want to talk about, in a lot of our polls, we did have South Carolina under Charlotte. I think South Carolina is an absolute train wreck. They just lost their ace, Jake McCoy, before the season to an elbow injury. They have another injury to their starting shortstop. they're just an absolute wreck. I mean, we talked about it last time I was on the show, the stuff going on with Paul Maneri there. And I think Charlotte's going to be pretty good. In one of my bold predictions coming out for Curveball, I have the AAC as a 3-bid league this year. I'm wanting it for ECU so bad because it'll definitely help them in the net. But yeah, these rankings definitely spark conversation for sure, man. So we'll see how they change as the season goes on.
A lot of good baseball in the Carolinas. So look, this time of year you can make arguments either way. By the way, we just got the news, guys. It is official. Doubleheader on Saturday starting at 12:30. So you almost had it, Philip Pilkington.
I was close.
12:30. Will be the first game on Saturday, and the second game will follow 45 minutes after the first game concludes. Now, the Friday game still set for 4 o'clock, season opener as scheduled. So it is official. ECU now in doubleheader mode as well, 12:30 start time for that game. All right, ECU, speaking of the Pirates, Cason, we know that obviously you're an alum, you're high on the Pirates. I've had all week to talk about it. Philip's talked about it a lot. What are you hoping to see this weekend from kind of a broad point of view as they host a good Xavier team?
I just want to see consistency at the plate. And I also want to see I kind of talked to you a little bit about it previously, just with all of these young guys like Burris and Irby and Peltier and Jenkins. Like, I really don't want to have a sophomore slump or these expectations getting them. And to kind of compare that, like, look at Josh Mullen from year 1 to 2, look at Jenkins Cowart from year 1 to 2. Jenkins was less of a drop off than Mullen was. Mullen had a really bad sophomore year. But I just want consistency. Just go with your bread and butter. Don't try to win the game off of one swing. And then on the mound, what I'm looking for this week, I'm gonna include the Campbell game in that. When I say week, just I'm very curious on. They say they have all these starters. They say they're deep, and I believe them. But it also gets to a point of, like, if you have so many guys, do you really have 3 guys? So that is, or 4 guys counting the midweek starters. So I'm really curious to see what they do out of the pen and how that affects Tuesday. I'm really curious to see what happens, I think, in my opinion, Saturday out of the bullpen and then Sunday as a game in whole, because I think, as you said, Norby will go pretty deep. So I think we'll see maybe 1 or 2 guys after Norby. So, and then Saturday, if Van Campen is slated to start, I mean, he hasn't gone deep. So I'm more curious about the pitching staff than I am about the lineup, because I think there are studs in the lineup. But then, like I said before, I want to see consistency and just kind of building on last year.
You know, a fair expectation, Cason, probably to take 2 of 3. I don't think it's ever fair to expect a sweep, but I think no matter how ugly or pretty it is, if you win the series over Xavier, you're pretty happy, at least from my point of view. And then, especially now with a doubleheader, like, how much of a challenge does that make it for ECU? Now, Xavier obviously has to deal with the same issues, but somebody made a good point on our show, I think it was yesterday, that the doubleheader kind of forces you to use even more arms, so we'll know where a lot of these guys stand. I mean, that could be kind of a blessing in disguise. You can't throw guys back-to-back days this early in the season, really.
No, correct. And like you said, it's going to change the game plan for sure. But my prediction, I think they're going to go 2-1 this weekend. I think they win Friday. I think they lose the first game, and then I think they win the rubber match the second game. That's what I think. But I'm really curious. And just like you said, just that really kind of threw a wrench in kind of my predictions, because just what's going to happen in game 3 now. Like, I'm so curious of how game 2 impacts game 3. I think game 1 to me is just kind of standalone. I think they have a script plan of who they want to go game 1. But I think if that goes off the rails, like it did first George Mason last year, I mean, maybe it could shake up 2 and 3. But I think I'm gonna say I'm glad we're having a doubleheader, because we're really going to see what this team's made of quick.
Yeah. So last night I was at the basketball game, and I sat with Coach O for the second half, and I asked Coach O, could it be a blessing in disguise, just straight up, and he said yes. You know, that he reiterated, you will not win a national championship in February, and you will not lose a national championship in February, but you can throw a young man out there in a spot that maybe you would have not put him in otherwise, just due to the fact you're playing 18 innings, and it could force him to go out there and thrive, and you got somebody you don't think you had, or it could put a guy that maybe, hey, if he doesn't have it, you figure it out here in February instead of waiting until league play. So Coach O's good with it, so I'm good with it.
Early question for you both. Will Walker Barron catch all 18 innings on Saturday? Will he start both games of the doubleheader?
No.
We test the catching depth right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm. He's catching. He's going to catch 27 innings this week. Unless
I hope not.
Unless we are kicking the ever-loving mess out of somebody, which I don't think. I mean, every year to year is so different, but this team's solid. I don't think we kick the ever-loving mess out of them. That's not a knock on us, just a compliment to them. So I'm going 27 innings of Walker Barron.
Another question for you both, probably more for Cason, since sources tell me he may be seeing a female these days. How does this impact your Valentine's Day plans, Cason? 18 innings of ECU baseball on Valentine's Day. I mean, what does this mean for you?
Well, you said first game at 12:30, right?
Yep, 12:30 start.
Well, it's just we're just going to have a later dinner. It's fine. It's all right. We were going to do our Valentine's a little after the first game, but now we're just going to have a later dinner. It's perfectly fine. It's going to work out just fine. I am disappointed though because Sunday is my birthday, so I was looking forward to waking up Sunday, having a nice breakfast, watching ECU baseball at lunch, then heading on home to my parents to see them. But now my Sunday is now going to consist of Navy at Queens at 12 p.m.
It's going to consist of the Daytona 500.
Oh, and the Daytona 500. I have to apologize, but I mean Navy Queens Daytona 500. I mean Philip.
That's a true doubleheader right there.
Yeah, that is. Ooh, the Royals and the Midshipmen. Have fun.
Yeah, that's tough. You remember that game ECU almost lost to Queens a couple years ago? That was something in baseball.
Dude threw
guy threw 129 pitches.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I remember
Daniel Bagwell.
Yeah, me and Chip just sitting there like we were already going to go out for beers after, and we're like, man, if they lose this game, we're going to close the place down and Uber home if they lose this game.
I am curious, guys, to see how the standout freshmen look as far as we're hearing a lot of buzz about Grady Linehan and Colby Weber. Now, we still don't have a starting rotation as of 12 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, February 12th, but we assume Weber's going to throw. If he doesn't start, he'll throw this weekend. I'm sure of it. And then Grady Linehan, the standout freshman outfielder. I expect them both to see action this weekend. And I was thinking pre-show, D1 Baseball put out their rankings. They have Linehan ranked as like the number 8 impact freshman nationally. They have Weber, I think, ranked in the 30s or so. But I was thinking like it's good that ECU has talent, but you think about all these standout freshmen ECU has had in recent years. Some of these guys come from nowhere. Like Jacob Jenkins-Cowart was not talked about at all. Braden Burris, granted he had an injury, he was not discussed nationally at all. And even Austin Irby to a lesser degree, he was probably hyped up a little bit more than others. But I'm curious to see, A, how those guys look, Cason, but B, like do we see any of these other freshmen coming out of nowhere that we haven't heard about?
I'm actually glad you brought this up because I have something pretty funny to say. So I do this thing with my Panthers podcast, Processing Blue, from the Charlotte Observer. I listen to their podcasts religiously because I love the Carolina Panthers. And last year, and this couple weeks ago, I listened to the end of the season podcast for the year before. And I kind of listened to it and contrasted what happened. So funny enough, this is so funny. I meant to text you. I listened to the Bucks on the Pond 2025 season preview yesterday, and kind of what happened last season. And Braden Burris was not mentioned a lot by y'all, and neither was Austin Irby. So it just goes to show that and I see y'all as the best source for ECU baseball, of course. And it just goes to show that these guys can really come out of nowhere and just kind of surprise you. And like you said, Jacob Jenkins-Cowart, just his freshman year was unreal. I think he had 76 hits his freshman year, just unbelievable. And we know Burris and Irby last year, but just like you said, there's going to be some guys that step up in the big moments, and that's what Cliff Godwin programs do. And I remember talking to you at the Coastal Carolina game last year at home on, I forgot what day it was, and we were talking about the lineup, and you said to me, Burris wasn't projected, but you just can't not have him out there. And I think there's going to be a guy like that on this team, whether it's Grady Linehan or some other freshmen. And also the injury to Braxton Trammell is going to open up opportunities for numerous other players too. So really looking forward to seeing that. Yeah, I wanted to give you a good laugh that I listened to you guys' projections a year ago, and some of them pretty good, some of them pretty bad. Can't even lie to you.
Sounds like, Case, you need to spend more time with that potential girlfriend and less time on YouTube.
Hey, man, look, at least she knows what he's doing when he's surfing the internet. He's being responsible.
Braxton, by the way, in the chat from Carolina Curveball says, we rarely see a catcher catch 18 innings the same day. Definitely we'll see another one out there, I'd imagine. Well, Braxton, you need to watch
Braxton,
more
Cliff
ECU
Guy was
baseball,
the head coach. Yeah. Yeah, for real.
I definitely understand what you're saying. It shouldn't be done, but it may be done. We'll see, though. I'm hoping that Michael Kalinich or Blade Carver, who isn't on the all-name team, can catch some innings as soon as this weekend. We'll see how it goes, though. Early test right out of the gate. Let's get a break in, gentlemen. We'll come back. We'll talk more about Curveball, Carolina Curveball, what they have going on with Cason. He'll be with us one more segment. Some bold predictions are out, and we'll tell you a little bit more about what they're doing, other action across the country. When we come back, this is Hoist the Colors heading into college baseball opening weekend.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh! In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Allen, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Every ECU fan's one stop for all things ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Second segment here. Final segment with Cason Remaley. He's got to get to a meeting, but we'll visit with him a little bit longer. Opening day, a day away. Philip Pilkington back in the 94.3 The Game studios as well. Again, if you missed it, it's official. ECU will play a doubleheader opening weekend on Saturday, starting at 12:30 due to weather projected for Sunday. The opener still set for 4 p.m. Eastern on Friday. for ECU and Xavier. All right, Cason Remaley back with us. And you were telling me, Cason, that there's going to be some breakfast in baseball, not in Greenville, obviously, but elsewhere in college baseball. Opening day tomorrow, right? You're gonna wake up bright and early, watch some baseball.
Yeah, wake up, watch Wake Forest and a former AAC foe, Houston, at 9:30 on Victory Plus. You can find that on Victory Plus, and on Saturday morning, NC State versus Indiana State, 9:30 a.m. And guess where? Victory Plus. And
it sounds like something you have to pay for.
After that. I honestly don't know. I'm not watching it on Victory Plus. It's going to be real. And then after that, you can tune right into Canisius at App State at appstatesports.net. Don't forget.
Victory Plus. Apparently, you can get a season pass for Texas Rangers baseball. I'm trying to see what the subscription options are for or what they cost, but looks like they got a little bit of everything. They have Texas Rangers, Anaheim Ducks, Dallas Stars. I guess this is I don't know. This is in Puerto Rico, right? This tournament?
This one might be in the Texas Rangers then. If it's
maybe so.
By the Rangers.
They're going to start at 8 a.m. their time, though? That's an early start their time, or 8:30 their time. That's an hour difference.
Yikes.
So you guys have bowl predictions coming out. Carolina Curveball. I just saw Braxton, who was in the chat. His were on social media. He has 5 NCAA regional host teams from the Carolinas, which is, bold but not impossible. He has Campbell making it back to an NCAA regional and Western Carolina winning the SoCon. So some thoughts on those, and then if you're willing to spoil them, Cason, feel free to share your bowl predictions as well.
I think those are all really, really good predictions in my opinion. I think 5 regional host that's honestly what we want. We would love that for sure. And I think there you're looking at NC State, Carolina, Clemson, Wake Forest, and ECU, or maybe swap ECU and Wake Forest there. I don't want it to be Wake Forest. I don't think anyone wants to play at the couch. Ugly field, small field, launch pad though, we'll say. ECU's a launch pad though too. And yeah, mine, like I said before, I think the AAC, through the American, is going to be a 3-bid league this year, and Coastal will not host a regional. I think that this is a year that they're going to be the hunted, not so much the hunting, and they lose some pieces in that lineup. They do have Fluky. They do have you could argue 2 best relievers in Ryan Lynch and Carbone. And then I have Wofford having a bounce back year. They had a lot of 40 wins each year, and then they really got diminished by the portal a couple years. They were really the first team in the Carolinas, really low major, that really got tore up. They had a lot of guys go to SEC like LSU. So, yeah, and then some other absolute crazy bowl predictions. James Malice, shout out Riley Johnson, has North Carolina missing the NCAA tournament. That is a crazy one. And Reed says South Carolina misses the NCAA tournament, and Palminieri is not back for year 3.
Yeah, that may be the least bold of all, but I think it's very possible.
True.
North Carolina missing the NCAA tournament is incredibly bold. James also has, you sent us the sneak peek graphic, ECU breaking down the door to Omaha. And these may be homerish picks, but hey, you got to ride with your heart sometimes. I think North Carolina's pitching is just too good to miss a regional.
I have a bad feeling they're going to be hoisting a trophy when it's all said and done.
They definitely can.
There's also $2 that have been put in my DraftKings account towards it too. So,
yeah, pitching wise, they can get it done. It's just, are they going to be able to hit on those transfers, and can they stay healthy on the mound? And we got Brax in the chat, by the way. He says he heard Victory Plus is free, but who knows? Those games are in Puerto Rico. We also have a comment from Mike Mullis 4883. I don't know if this is the same Mike Mullis that comes on our show, but he says, what's it going to take for Hoist the Colors opening day show at Subdogs?
I don't think that's something the real Mike Mullis would be asking.
Yeah. I think, honestly, Brett Oliverio, it's like if we asked him, he would do it, but he's got enough stuff going on. So yeah. maybe a how about this? When ECU's hosting a regional, we'll have a special show from Subdogs. Let's
there
do
we
that.
Go.
At that point, we'll be midsummer. They'll need some traffic, so we'll organize that. Cason will make an appearance, and we'll roll from there. Any other notable weekend series? I mean, it's kind of a dry weekend, right? I feel like most of the big series are weeks 2 and 3 in non-conference play. You get a lot more of these tournaments. So, anything else you're really keeping an eye on, Cason?
There's a few I'm keeping an eye on. We got San Diego at Charlotte. That's a really good series. San Diego traveling across the country to face Charlotte. Got Liberty at the Citadel. Citadel doesn't put up a lot of runs, but they can stop you from putting up a lot of runs. They got a really good pitching staff. We got also Kentucky at UNC Greensboro. We were talking about this pre-show, just how crazy that is. A SEC school coming down the road from me, going to G, and Cal Poly at Campbell. We're really I will say we're kind of talking up Campbell this preseason at Carolina Curveball. We really hope they have a bounce back year because Campbell for the previous 2 or 3 years before this were just one of the best teams in the Carolinas. They have talent in the MLB. They got kind of ripped by the portal. Also, head coach left for Ohio State, but that is a big one. Also, Upstate at South Alabama. That is another good one. And then, the big one to me, Xavier, net rankings heavyweight champion at East Carolina. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah, I look, Xavier has the most brutal schedule I've ever seen. So I'm curious. And they've got a really good Friday night starter. He pitched in the Cape last year, Cape Cod League, so he's an MLB draft prospect, a little wild at times. But I'm expecting Friday's game to be really low scoring, a lot of velocity. We'll see how the weather turns out and if it's conducive to hitting at all. There's been a big push, Cason, from Eric Bakich, the Clemson coach, to maybe push the start of the season back a few weeks. As somebody who now runs, a part-time thing covering baseball on the side with Carolina Curveball, would you like to see the season pushed back? I feel like we could push it back to later February, just be a little bit better for everybody.
I think it will be better for everybody, and I think this year it's way easier to say that considering I'm looking outside my window and I still do see pieces of ice and snow, piles of ice and snow on the ground, and considering 2 weeks ago it was just everything was white. Bakich has been a real force for that. We see it a lot on our feed at Curveball because we see a lot of Clemson stuff, and I'm with it. I mean, I'm fine starting March. I think March is fine, but then you're competing with March Madness there. I think that, but I honestly don't think March Madness really cares because March Madness has its own market and is so big. But I am for sure for the season pushing back, and this year more than ever because of the recent weather we've had here in the Carolinas personally.
And another thing, if we're going to do this, if we're going to have an experimental year to do this, let's just go ahead and make it 2027. It's going to cost you to play later into the summer, but let's be honest, if there's not college baseball next summer, we're going to be stuck watching whatever soccer tournament is on in the middle of the summer because in NASCAR, because there's not going to be MLB baseball in 2027, so might as well push college baseball back.
Yeah, that is looking like it'll be a mess. So if you're college baseball, you'd be smart to go ahead and capitalize on that. All right, we have a few more minutes with you, Cason. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Bold prediction, ECU baseball opening weekend. What you got?
Bold prediction, ECU baseball opening weekend.
He already made one. It's the fact that Walker Barron will actually not catch every inning. That was his bold prediction.
Yes, that one.
That is very bold.
That one. I'm going to say, ooh, got me on the spot. I'm going to go Gavin, if he starts on Saturday, I'm going to say he goes no-hitter, Cliff pulls him at 7. He doesn't let him go on. But Gavin's going to have a masterclass performance. That's my
So Gavin Van Kempen, 7 no-hit innings?
Yes, 7 no-hit innings minimum. Or like I think he's gonna throw a no hitter, but knowing Cliff Godwin will pull him if he throws one ball 1 inch outside the plate.
All right, that's bold. And then finally, let people know where they can catch the Carolina Curveball. You guys got the podcast going and all your information because you guys are doing a great job, bunch of graphics, and again the ECU Build Your Team budget wise will be dropping this evening, I believe.
Correct. Yes. You can find us at Carolina Curve BB on Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Also on TikTok. We do have our preview show tonight at 9 p.m. And if you cannot listen tonight, we will be posting on Spotify for you to listen on your way to work or at work Friday, getting ready for the games. If you don't want to purchase or get Victory Plus to watch Wake Forest, you can listen to us preview the weekend. But yeah, thank you for all the support. And like I've said before, I would not be where I am we would not be where we are without you, Steven, and you, Philip. So just once again, thank you guys, and looking forward to baseball and seeing you guys soon.
And by the way, I think our plan first of all, appreciate y'all, is to get Braxton on and you next Friday for the Carolina series, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we will actually be in studio Friday.
Yep.
We will be coming in.
There's going to be a crowded show. We got Bobby, Howard, and Wags tomorrow, and then next week we're going to have to figure out how we'll do it logistically.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to share some microphone. We don't have enough microphones for all those people. We are going to have to sit there and, do the little pass off. But hey, man, we'll make it work,
We'll just kick Philip off.
That works too.
No.
We can't. Then we wouldn't know how to produce it, so we can't do that. All right, we'll let you go, Case. I know you got to get to a meeting, man. Appreciate you as always, and thanks for everything. We'll chat here soon. Let's get a break in. We have got to continue our ECU baseball roster rundown. We got to get through some of that. If you guys got any questions in the chat, drop those as well. We'll get to them, and we got to talk about Jordan Riley hitting 1,000 points as well before the show is over, because that's a big, big freaking deal. So we'll break that down. This is Hoist the Colors. More on the way after this.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Hoist the sail!
Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors.
Ahoy, me hearties! Back to Steve and I go on 94.3 The Game.
Third segment here, Hoist the Colors, one day out from ECU baseball. Appreciate Cason Remaley's time. Great stuff in segments 1 and 2. If you missed it, ECU baseball will play a doubleheader Saturday beginning at 12:30 due to rain on Sunday. Also, the initial start time for Friday is still at 4 o'clock. So the opener is still on for then, and we'll keep you up to date if any other changes happen with other sports if we hear of any. Also, wanted to mention, keep an eye on, there's a big Board of Trustees meeting going on at ECU today and to tomorrow. Would expect some significant athletic news. John Gilbert's contract is up at the end of this year, so stay tuned for that, and then we'll see if any other news comes out of that. That is, I think, the athletics part of that meeting set for 1:45 for this afternoon, so we'll be keeping tabs on that, and we'll react to any news on Friday's show as it sees fit. All right, Philip Pilgrim back in the 94.3 The Game studios. We got to continue our ECU baseball roster rundown, Philip, because we got 6 players left to do. We have reached number 50 on our numerical countdown. Can we get through all 6 this segment is my question.
Yeah, we can. We're going to lock in.
Let's do it. All right. Got a couple guys who, we don't have to say too much about, one of which is Charlie Hoagland, a freshman left-handed pitcher, 6'1", 185, out of Dayton, Ohio. ECU going into the northeast for some of these arms, which I like. Probably mid-80s, crafty lefty reliever type, and we've discussed it, man. I don't know exactly what his role will be, but I think he may pitch this year some. You have him, Luke Payne. You've got Nick Moran, who's the left-hander we've discussed. We've also obviously talked about Ethan Norby, who's going to start, and Ryan Towers, Dawson Neal, Gabe Beschloss. Like, you have – I think this may be the most lefties I can remember at ECU.
I think so. Or at least the most lefties you feel actually decent about going in the season.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 or 5 of those guys I think will legit be part of this staff, weekend in and weekend out. So, yeah, it's a great thing. And, look, I mean, I guess with depth comes depth on both sides of the mound.
Number 51 is Jack Herring. Was a Greenville Yard gnome, came to ECU, and really just took off the second half of the year once he got a legit shot to play. Finished the year hitting .302, 6 doubles, 5 homers, 28 RBIs, 17 walks, 20 strikeouts. Not flashy, but he just fights. He's a quality at-bat guy, and I expect him to be that guy again, whether he's a DH, corner outfielder, I don't know. In the summer, in the New England Collegiate Baseball League, he hit .322 with a .986 OPS, 8 home runs, 8 doubles. Switch hitter, he is better from the left side. But again, 31 walks to 30 strikeouts over summer ball. I mean, he just doesn't strike out, Philip. Yeah, he's not a speed guy. He's not a huge power guy. But, I just love a hitter like this in the lineup who's never an easy out. Just a tough at-bat. And I probably want him up there near the top if possible.
Yeah, I think so. I think the question comes down to Jack Herring is, does he start at DH or does he start in the corner outfield? I think, like you said, his speed's not great. He doesn't run well. I think there would be in a perfect world, he's just going to be your everyday DH for close to 56 games this year. He's a great hitter, and like you said, disciplined at the plate. It's just a matter of, is he really quick enough to play the outfield with what looks like a stacked outfield?
All right, number 55 is Thomas Paxton. He comes over from Belmont Abbey, where he was their closer last season, went 3-2 with a 2.50 ERA, 24 games, 9 saves, 39 innings pitched, 36 Ks, 18 walks, allowed just 28 hits in 39 innings. For Wilmington this summer in the summer league, it's always good to see how these guys compete in the summer league against more D1 competition. 8 saves, 15 games, 15 innings, 22 Ks, 5 walks. So hard-throwing right-hander out of the pen, closing experience at the Division II level. I expect him to be a high-leverage back-end arm. And, we talked a lot about how these bullpen roles are going to sort out. I would expect him to throw this weekend and probably in a high-leverage situation, but another guy who's coming with relief experience.
Exactly. And, he's one of the few guys that is coming in with relief experience and big-time relief experience. So, obviously, it's not at the same level, but those numbers were good from the summer. He wasn't in the best of summer leagues, but it was still, it's still decent D1 competition. It's better than what he was facing at his previous stop down at Belmont Abbey. So, we'll see what happens, but I think he's one of those guys that definitely early could tend to be that setup guy or, hell, even maybe the Pirates closer.
Number 61 is Chance Hall, 6'2", 185 pounds. He's been in the program. This is going on his third year. I would expect him to, retain, repeat the same role he did last year, kind of a pinch runner, backup outfitter type, redshirted in 2024, played in 11 games last year, made appearances as pinch runner in most of those spots, had his first collegiate at bat against William & Mary. So redshirt sophomore, number 61, Chance Hall, expect him to continue that role and also be a really good player in the locker room. Again, he's got strong family blood ties to the program. Obviously, his cousin Jennings Hall played for the volleyball team. You also have several of his family members, big Pirate Club members as well. So certainly a name to remember. Number 77, Brett Beasley. He's a freshman that I like long term. 6'3", 215, infielder out of Atlantic Shores Christian, physical prospect. I think on a normal team, Phil, Brett Beasley may have a shot to play, but on this team, we've talked about the infield depth at shortstop and second. I think in an ideal world, he develops this year. We probably see him some, but he's a guy I would look for down the line. I just think with Hakame, Lashley, Burris, Parham, Wallace can play over there. There's just a lot of infielders. It's going to be hard to see the field for this guy.
It is. And, I think the question comes down with him is, do you feel like you can get him in a significant number of games? And if the answer is yes, that's an opportunity to develop him. If you can't, you wonder, does he end up redshirting? And sometimes we've seen some guys in this Pirate program not necessarily be the worst guys that end up redshirting. It's guys with okay potential, and you don't want to burn a year for 3 to 4 years. You're just laughing your butt off that I even brought that up, aren't you?
I'm actually laughing at a comment, but I'll bring it up later. It's
okay.
I was you're making a good point.
Yeah, if you can only get him in 3 to 4 games, does that really help his development? Because this is a guy that I think can start for you in the future. But like you said, there's going to be guys who don't start that are still going to see significant playing time. So he's going to be kind of packed in what is really going to be a tight room there, or I shouldn't say a tight room, a big room. So, I think it could go either way, but definitely one of those guys you feel good about moving forward.
The final player on our list numerically, by the way, Brett Beasley is number 77. Number 99 is Gavin Marley. He comes from Lenore-Ryan. Him and Thomas Paxton I'm very curious to see because both these guys have extremely similar profiles. Gavin Marley was the closer at Lenore-Ryan, which reached the Division II College World Series last year. Really good fastball. It's not the best velocity in the world, but, man, it's got a ton of movement, gets on you. And for Lenore-Ryan last year, 3-1, 2.75 ERA, 28 appearances, 9 saves, 39 innings, 59 strikeouts in those 39 innings, 22 walks. He allowed just 22 hits. And at times he can be wild, but, man, when he's in the zone, he's tough to handle. He just has a good fastball, solid slider as well. Definite reliever profile. And has pitched well in the summer, too, in limited opportunities when he's pitched in the summer. So he's another guy, redshirt junior, older reliever, number 99 and number 55, Philip, for me, out of the bullpen this weekend. Gavin Marley and Thomas Paxton. We know they've done it at a lower level. We know they have the stuff to do it. I'm going to be watching more so than anything their body language and just do they feel comfortable pitching in these environments.
Yeah, you almost hope, and it sounds crazy, maybe you hope you're up 3 to 4 runs, where you're not putting these guys in up huge, but you're also not putting them in a situation where it's like, hey, this is about to be a mercy rule. We're already up by 12. Whatever happens. So like a semi-leverage situation, I would say, just kind of be like, hey, you know what? We're up 3. You could give up a run, but let's go out there and act like we're up 1. Kind of situations. So I feel like that's kind of like the perfect storm for these guys who are making the jump. So that's when I would like to see them in the game is if we are, say up 5-2 in the 8th inning. I think that'd be a perfect opportunity to get those guys in.
So there is your entire ECU baseball roster rundown. We've concluded all 40-plus names, I believe, on the roster. Maybe a little bit less than that with the cuts. I don't even remember these days what the exact number is. That said, we have a comment in the YouTube chat from Mike Mullis 4883. He says, "Don't know how I feel about Pilt calling me not the real Mike Mullis." So is this the real Mike Mullis or not? I need to know.
I don't know. The thing is, maybe he would bring up the Sup Dogs thing. I just see him coming with a more formal. When it comes to baseball, Mike's serious. Mike can be fun and can laugh, but when it comes to baseball, of course, we aren't talking baseball yet. I don't know. The fact that he called me Pilk, that is what Mullis refers to me. He never calls me Phillip, so maybe.
YouTube has really changed how you can click on comments now. When I click his profile picture, it only gives me the chance to report the post or to block him. So
we don't want to do that.
Otherwise, I would be able to investigate his profile and see if it's the real Mike Mullis or not. I'm with you though. I don't think the real Mike Mullis would be in the YouTube chat. I don't know.
I think if he had a problem, he would just text us.
Yeah.
Hey, well, the real Mike Mullis is going to be on the Patrick Johnson show tomorrow, so we can find out tomorrow on the Patrick Johnson show. Special start time for PJ's show, by the way. We're going to do a lead-in 3 o'clock to 3:45 because the network will take over at 3:45 that first 4 o'clock first pitch. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow if it's the real Mike Mullis.
Now I'm curious, man. I really want to know. And I do know there is another Mike Mullis that often comments on Twitter, and it's not the Mike Mullis.
I
bet this guy isn't the Mike Mullis, but the Mike Mullis we know, I should say. So I think if I had to set odds, I would say he's that guy.
The other guy?
The other Mike Mullis. So we'll try to figure that out. Irving Bennett says, I'm optimistic, but still a little bit wary of the slow starts that we've experienced from time to time. Hope we come out and take care of business early this year. I understand it. I just think, somebody asked me this on the board, so it'll be our final thing for a break. Baseball is such a rhythm sport, and it's such a, there are so many different players that have to find a role, and timing, comfort. Baseball, and all sports are like this, but baseball more than anything, man, it's just about getting in a routine, finding your role, your comfort. So, really who you are in February is not the end-all, be-all. Now, for ECU, it matters due to the schedule and the conference they're in, but good or bad, I'm not going to overreact. I'm going to say that now. Now, I probably still will all overreact to a small sample size, which is the opposite of what you're supposed to do in baseball, Philip. But, we just have to remember that, too. If it doesn't look pretty this weekend in some respects, there's a reason for it. It doesn't mean the season's over, the sky's falling.
Swept by Ryder was a national seed.
Yeah. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say, as it can work out many different ways. So we'll see how it looks this weekend, and we'll react accordingly. We'll try to keep our reactions in check, but I'm sure one way or the other, it'll be the sky is falling or we're going to Omaha. Let's get a break in. We'll come back. Jordan Riley reached the 1,000-point club. He's the 35th all-time to do it at ECU in men's basketball, but he's just the 4th to do it in 2 seasons. We'll talk about his play, his impact, his legacy at ECU after this.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Cason Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today.
Like all pirates, Stephen Igo is loyal and bold. He may also have a touch of scurvy. Back to Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Final segment here. We'll get some hoops talk in. Philip Hogan producing today's show. Jordan Riley went and scored 19 points last night. Early in the game, he became the fourth player in ECU history to record 1,000 points in a purple and gold uniform in 2 seasons, and well less than 2 seasons in Riley's case. But major accomplishment. Oliver Mack has done it. Blue Edwards has done it. Jaden Gardner has done it. And now Jordan Riley has done it. And those are 4 big-time names. Now, look, I'm sure if you talk to Jordan, like, part of the reason he got there this year so fast was because of necessity. He just doesn't have the pieces around him. And he would trade the team success for individual accolades. But I just want to make sure we realize how big of a deal this is. ECU basketball obviously doesn't have the best history, but we still need to appreciate greatness when we see it. And Jordan Riley is greatness. The guy is out there busting his tail every single night, playing basically 40 minutes a game, diving on the floor, getting knocked on the floor. He's seeing the best teams, opposing defensive players. He's getting double-teamed. Yeah, it's not the most efficient 25, 30 points per game when he's scoring that much. But, he's a warrior. And, I'm happy that he gets – in a season where he would trade all this for more success and make the NCAA tournament, I'm happy he's getting to go out with a pretty huge milestone and, in my opinion, should not be forgotten as an ECU Pirate because of it, Philip. This is a pretty big deal for Riley, what he's accomplished in well less than 2 seasons.
He's salvaging the season right now. We got 3 conference wins, and I think we'd be sitting at a goose egg without Jordan Riley. And I'm not trying to say it's just a one-man show, but look, when it comes to scoring, it really has been. And the other thing that's nice about it was all the other stuff you mentioned, Steven. Yeah, there's a lot of guys who can score, but sometimes when you get in this situation where the team's terrible and you're the scorer, you just kind of have that mindset of give me the ball and get out of my way, and you don't want to do any of the grunt work. That's not Jordan Riley. Jordan Riley is doing the grunt. Like you say, he's diving on loose balls. He's fighting for rebounds. He plays with a blue-collar style. And, much respect for Jordan. We appreciate all that he's done here in the Pirate uniform these last 2 seasons.
No doubt. And hopefully, for his sake, they can find a way to get into that conference tournament and just have a shot. He was on that Temple team that was awful whatever year it was, and they made a run to the conference championship game from, the 13-14 seed. Now, those teams don't even make the conference tournament. ECU, realistically, looking at the standings, they have got to win at Rice on Saturday. They're 2 games behind Rice and a game behind North Texas for the cutoff line, which is Rice at the 10 seed. And ECU has already lost to Rice once. If they fall further behind, they're going to struggle to make up that ground with few opportunities remaining. They do have the tiebreaker over North Texas. So if they win at Rice, we could have a conversation on how they make the conference tournament. By the way, UTSA, as Kenny points out in the chat, I didn't believe I'd see a worse shooting team than ECU, but UTSA is terrible. Wow, that was bad. They couldn't shoot. They couldn't pass. They couldn't communicate. That's a horrific basketball team. ECU is a bad basketball team. UTSA is horrific, and that may be not doing it justice.
Yeah, I think ECU, they're a bad scoring basketball team. Yes, scoring is what causes it, but they at least it looked competent on the floor. They just sometimes can't score, but they look like they know what they're doing.
They hang around in games.
Yeah, they hang around in games. They know what their defensive assignments are. Their offensive sets look like they've actually, been practiced at practice. UTSA looks like, I've seen better middle school teams, not more talented or more athletic middle school teams. But seriously, I think my middle school team was better at basketball. Like we moved the ball. We knew what we were supposed to do. We didn't have defensive lapses. We cut to the right place. Like they just looked like 5 dudes just running around out there. And they only had 8 guys on dressed.
Yeah. They have like 7 players out with injuries, or one of them was out for the whole year due to personal reasons. One of their projected top transfers. So they're in a mess like ECU is with several players down, but they are going through it worse. I think that's 17 losses in a row. By the way, can you tell me, Philip, who's in first place in the American? I'm going to start doing this every time. See if we can guess it.
Oh, gosh. Is it
men's basketball?
Is it still Tulsa?
Tulsa has slipped to second place. The
Behind South Florida? Okay, that's my next
are
guess.
in first place at 9-3. You just never know what you're going to get in the American, baby. All right, ECU will be at Rice this weekend. Again, that'll be a big game. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. We got to get out of here today. Friday at 12 noon. We'll see you then. Hours ahead of first pitch. ECU baseball season opener. I have Jonathan Wagner and Bobby Harvard along with Philip and myself. We'll see you then on HTC. Thanks for listening.
This has been Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo. Get a recap of this show at 943thegame.com and on your IBX Media app, on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Tune in weekdays at noon to get your ECU sports fix with Stephen Igo.